guarantee it.
The live Pennsylvania lottery drawing tonight before Jeopardy. Action News, Delaware Valley's leading news program, with Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and Jim Gardner.
Thursday night, an elevator accident in Center City sends a woman to the hospital, and an accused killer is brought back to face charges that he murdered his mother in Bucks County. But the big story in Action News tonight is devastating fire tragedy in North Philadelphia, and tonight 2 small children are dead. This is the way it looked from the air when fire attacked a row house at 2517 West Silver Street. The blaze erupted just before 3 this afternoon, and firemen had it out within 20 minutes. But even that wasn't fast enough. 2 children, cousins, were killed. They are identified as 2-year-old Robert Travis Johnson and 3-year-old Anisha Hill. Firefighters removed their small bodies from the home. They were 2 of 3 children that their grandmother was babysitting. Gloria Johnson is confined to a wheelchair.
Their mother went to the store. I was downstairs. Next thing I know, somebody back on the door told me it was fire.
You're not going to do it, then I got...
Yeah, said it was a fire. I didn't even know. I'm in a wheelchair.
The 3rd child got out unharmed. We spoke to a neighbor who tried to rescue the other 2.
When we went upstairs, they had the fire was like jumping back down, so we couldn't get the kids out.
Fire Commissioner Harold Hairston said it appears a kerosene heater was to blame.
There's a kerosene heater that is in that room that was in close proximity to the children. We were told by one of the 911 callers that there was a problem with the kerosene heater. We haven't at this point made a determination as to whether or not in fact that was the cause of fire, but the indications seem to be pointing in that direction.
And it was a heart-wrenching scene as the mothers of the 2 dead children arrived on the scene to find out what happened. They fell into each other's arms and now must deal with the aftermath of this tragedy. 6 houses in West Philadelphia have been evacuated at this hour because of a potentially explosive discovery. Chopper 6 was over the scene in the 100 block of North Peach Street. Some old sticks of dynamite were found in one of the houses. The bomb squad is currently removing them. No one has been hurt. In the meantime, the evacuees are being given temporary shelter by the Red Cross. In Allentown, a preliminary hearing is still going on for an alleged serial killer. Here's that story from Action News reporter John Rollins.
19-year-old Harvey Robinson arrived at the courthouse today facing allegations he is Lehigh County's first serial killer, responsible for raping and murdering 3 women and raping and trying to kill 2 others, including a 5-year-old. Robinson maintains he is innocent.
At this point, he indicates that they've got the wrong guy.
DA Robert Steinberg is handling the case. Among the evidence to be presented, an affidavit from the 5-year-old survivor who identified Robinson's picture out of a photo lineup. The strongest scientific evidence involves murder victim Charlotte Schmoyer. The 15-year-old was stabbed 22 times, her body left in this wooded area. Samples of her assailant's semen and blood found at the crime scene were sent to the FBI. A series of tests, including tests that can compare human DNA, linked the samples to Robinson while ruling out 7 other suspects. Such tests are not perfect, and FBI scientists said today the test that included Robinson excluded 99.999% of the population. For the prosecution, that is science at its best.
Obviously, in these types of crimes, there are no eyewitnesses. These types of crimes aren't done in front of 60,000 at Veterans Stadium. These are done in secret, and that's why science is utilized.
Similar but less complete DNA links were presented between Robinson and murder victims Jessica Fortney and Joan Mary Burkhart. Burkhart's parents were in the courtroom today.
The family and friends that we have and the supportive neighbors, plus our own faith, we have survived, and we will survive.
Much of the prosecution's case is a web of scientific and circumstantial evidence. At this point, the defense concedes it is going to have to challenge the scientific basis of that evidence if it's going to convince people that Harvey Robinson is the wrong man. John Rollins, Channel 6 Action News, Allentown.
A man from Bensalem Township was arrested early this morning in Aberdeen, Maryland, and has been brought back to Bucks County to face charges of murdering his mother. 36-year-old Larry Clemick of Hansel Drive is being charged with the murder of his 73-year-old mother on December 17th. Clemick then fled the area. Last night, 2 police officers arrived at a Red Roof Inn in Aberdeen where Clemick locked himself in his room. This morning, a team of FBI agents went in and had arrested Clemick without incident. Bertha Clemick was found in her house on Hansel Drive in Bensalem. She had been strangled. The fate of Mary Mulaski is now in the hands of a Bucks County jury. The 28-year-old Montgomery County woman is accused of trying to kill attorney William Eastburn last July. Eastburn was shot in the chest last July as he arrived for work at his law office in Doylestown. The jury must decide now if Mulaski is guilty but mentally ill or not guilty by reason of insanity. Both sides agree Mulaski pulled the trigger, believing Eastburn was involved in a plot to eavesdrop on her. The jury resumes deliberations in the morning. Yesterday, a Philadelphia neighborhood in Kensington was rocked by the murder of a 27-year-old woman, allegedly by her 54-year-old neighbor. The suspect has a long history of serious mental illness. Yet police say she easily bought a gun to commit the crime. Of course, this raises a critical issue. Action News reporter Karen Friedman has more.
Family members say 54-year-old Linda Hockey is a diagnosed paranoid schizophrenic and has a 25-year history of mental illness and hospitalization. Yet on November 13th, nearly 2 months ago, Hockey walked into Delia's gun shop here in Torresdale and purchased a Rossi .38 caliber handgun like this one. Yesterday, police say she used the weapon to shoot her 27-year-old Kensington neighbor to death. Reportedly, she had taunted Rena Nylde, a wife and mother of 5, for over a year. How then did Hockey legally obtain a gun?
If they have no record, they get the gun.
And in Pennsylvania, it really is that simple. Under state law, a person wishing to buy a gun fills out this form. It is sent to police who run a criminal record check. If there are no prior convictions, the purchase is approved within 3 days.
Evidently, this woman had problems for years, and we sent papers in. She had no record. We had to give her the gun. There's nothing we can do about it.
But gun dealers say they're getting a bad rap. They claim it is not that easy to buy a gun. And they say despite what people think, if a weapon like this falls into the wrong hands, well, they say it is not their fault. And police agree. A single question on the gun application form asking the buyer if he or she has ever had mental health problems is the only clue authorities have. If the answer is no, police have no way to prove otherwise.
But when it comes to mental health, our hands are more or less tied because the state doesn't have a central depository for us to check in a rather timely fashion. And then the Right to Privacy Act prevents us from going to different hospitals.
Recently, state legislators have contacted police authorities in hopes of modifying the laws and making mental health records more accessible. But police fear more people like Rena Nylde will die needlessly before that happens. I'm Karen Friedman, Channel 6 Action News.
Testimony is underway in the murder trial of 2 men accused in a drive-by killing in Kensington in Philadelphia. The victim was 23-year-old Robert Burns, who authorities say died in a case of mistaken identity. Wrong place at the wrong time. It happened in July of 1992 at the corner of Rohr and Westmoreland Streets. Burns was shot twice as he stood on the sidewalk talking to a woman. The suspects are Rudis Morera and John Walker. Police say Morera was the triggerman. Walker drove the car. The two were allegedly gunning for a group of youths who threw a bottle at their car earlier. The prosecution is seeking the death penalty for both. A number of banks have banded together to offer a huge reward for the capture of a robbery ring. Action News reporter Suzanne LaFranchi has background and the latest in the effort to bring the bandits to justice.
4 men armed with automatic weapons, including an Uzi, first held up this beneficial savings bank on November 12th. Less than a month later, police believe the same bandits terrorized employees before robbing this Mellon PSFS at 70th and Grovers Avenue. 9 days later, a guard was pistol whipped during a robbery at the Beneficial Savings Bank in the 6200 block of Bustleton Avenue. And just last week, investigators suspect the same gang held up the Mellon PSFS in the 400 block of 63rd Street.
At least 3 robbers were involved in each one, and in one of them we believe there were at least 4 people. All the individuals involved in these bank robberies were armed with at least handguns, and in one instance a MAC-10 was believed to have been used.
Today, the FBI released these surveillance pictures of the suspects taken at 3 of the 4 robberies. Police say the thieves are in their mid-20s. In all cases, they are heavily armed and very aggressive. During the holdups, the robbers used threatening language, often firing a gun or claiming to have a live grenade. In one case, a guard was hospitalized after being pistol whipped.
Well, they're frightened for their lives. The people that are in the actual holdups, that's what they fear. These are terrorist attacks.
What concerns investigators the most is the aggressive nature of this gang. At this beneficial savings bank in Overbrook, the bandits announced the robbery by firing an Uzi and then threatening to blow the manager's head off.
We're very concerned about the fact that the potential for much greater violence than we've seen so far is certainly present in all of these bank robberies.
Police won't say how much has been stolen, only that it's substantial. The banks are offering a reward in excess of $100,000 for information leading to the arrest and convictions of the robbery gang. I'm Suzanne LaFranchi, Channel 6 Action News.
The pastor of a Delaware County church is in jail tonight on sex charges. Pastor Earl White, age 52, has been arrested for allegedly sexually abusing an adolescent member of his congregation. White is at the Gander Hill prison in Delaware on $100,000 bail. The alleged incident happened in July of last year at White's house on Paladin Drive in Wilmington. The girl's mother filed a report with Newcastle County Police just this past Monday. White is pastor of the New Testament Church on West 2nd Street in Chester. Sweeping reforms are being recommended to ease Pennsylvania's prison overcrowding crisis tonight. A just completed 8-month study says the system will be more than 8,000 inmates over capacity by 1997 unless something is done, that despite the construction of 5 new prisons. The report by the Pennsylvania Commission on Corrections Planning calls for eliminating mandatory minimum sentences in all but murder cases. But that idea promises to run into political opposition from lawmakers bombarded by crime concerns of their constituents. But another recommendation is harsher sentences for violent and repeat offenders. The commission favors earned time for good behavior to speed convicts' release and expanded use of electronic monitoring devices as a way to get inmates out from behind bars. It could have been worse today at 1818 Market Street in Center City, Philadelphia. A woman fell 2 floors down an elevator shaft. The woman, whose name still hasn't been released, broke her left leg and is now in surgery at Jefferson Hospital. Officials say the 39-year-old woman from Deptford, New Jersey, is an employee of an elevator company and was working on the freight elevator when she fell. Police still investigating exactly why she fell. It was a different kind of emergency today in Hamilton Square, New Jersey. It was a battle against time and the elements as rescuers tried to save a horse. That story tonight from New Jersey correspondent Norma Mushanek.
This was the scene less than an hour ago as Ginger, a 28-year-old quarter horse, was finally lifted by a crane onto her feet. The horse slipped and fell last night at about 11 and spent the entire night in the bitter cold, unable to get up. Her owners desperately tried to right her, but when they failed, local firefighters were called in. They dragged Ginger on a tarpaulin close to the stable, then tried to warm her up with their hands and high-intensity lamp. Finally, a crane did the job, and Ginger got up on her own 4 feet.
It's just wonderful. I just, I don't know how to ever repay them or thank them, or I just can't thank them enough. It's just was wonderful to know I had all that support.
I'm glad we got it inside finally, after a lot of hard work.
You were worried about the horse?
Yeah, she looked cold, and her back legs look kind of frozen back there.
And so after 18 hours in the cold, Ginger is now inside warm, and we're happy to say has a big appetite. I'm Norma Mushanek, Channel 6 Action News, Hamilton Square, New Jersey.
Still to come on Action News tonight, the curtain is set to rise on the 78th annual Pennsylvania Farm Show. In sports, Olympic skater Nancy Kerrigan is the target of a violent attack. Gary Papa has that story. Dave Roberts with a weekend preview from AccuWeather. That and more when Action News continues tonight.
If the jury in the Mike Tyson rape trial had known more about the victim's sexual history, would the verdict have been different? Tyson's attorney, Alan Dershowitz, says yes, and he's fighting to change it. We'll talk to him live on the Next AM Philadelphia.
Tomorrow morning at 10 on Channel 6.
Knowing Gennardi's is knowing our high quality and low prices, like 99 cents a pound for country fried chicken breast quarters, 2 half-gallons of Turkey Hill ice cream for only $5, and 1/3 off all varieties of VIP frozen foods.
Get to know how low our prices really are.
How do you make your dreams come true? Come to Nationwide Discount Sleep Centers, where everybody finds the mattress of their dreams. And these are the final days of Nationwide's mattress clearance, where you buy the mattress at the regular price and get the box spring and frame free. Plus, Nationwide will deliver your new mattress and remove your old one free, too. Now, how do you make your dreams come true? Nationwide Discount Sleep Centers.
Hi, I'm Heather from the Montage Ski Improvement Center. Here are the conditions.
With all the new snow and cold weather, our ski conditions are better than they've ever been. Snow bases get deeper every day with super packed powder conditions. This week we're skiing 16 to 20 trails, with every trail expected to open this weekend. Stop by Bensalem and Quigley this week for discounted lift tickets to Montage Ski Resort and see the latest in big-name ski clothing and equipment.
Community and government leaders in Trenton were hard at work today, coming up with plans to crack down on youth crimes. Mayor Doug Palmer met with his Youth Services Commission today as members plan for another year of programs to help keep youngsters out of trouble. One of the plans calls for removing alcohol and tobacco ads from billboards and replacing them with positive messages. The Youth Services Commission works with youngsters in areas ranging from health to employment training and education. New Jersey Congressman Bob Franks was in Trenton today to pick up support for a bill he's introducing that would force the federal government to pay for any programs it imposes on state and local governments. Franks says unfunded federal mandates cost state and local governments nationwide $500 billion a year. For example, he says to comply with the Clean Water Act, the city of Newark, New Jersey will have to spend $200 million, or 40% of its entire budget. Frank says those costs will eventually be passed on to the taxpayer. A Philadelphia businessman wants a seat in the U.S. House of Representatives. 30-year-old Republican Jim Hasher announced today that he's running for the 3rd District congressional seat. Hasher is from the Torresdale section of the city and owns a small realty company. He says the incumbent, Democrat Bob Borski, has lost touch with the working people and business owners in his district. Asher says he wants to form a partnership with business and labor and keep businesses from pulling out of Northeast Philadelphia. Congressman Jim Greenwood of Bucks County presented residents of the Grundy Garden Senior Center in Fairless Hills with an American flag today. The old flag in front of the center was worn out, and so residents called Greenwood's office in hopes of getting a new one, and that they did. Greenwood made good by giving them one of the flags that has flown over the United States Capitol.
It's a good outdoor flag.
I am anxious to have taxes reduced.
I favor a reduction of income taxes.
Tax reduction is urgently needed. I believe we can cut taxes substantially.
What presidents promise, Dreyfus delivers.
I want the taxes to be less, that the people may have more.
And so Dreyfus pioneered tax-exempt funds, bringing to millions tax-exempt opportunities, once opened only to the few. Dreyfus, king of tax-exempt funds.
Don't miss Levitt's January sale and clearance. We're loaded with leftovers from Christmas and have reduced regular prices 25 to 70% on everything in stock. Only $14.99 buys this handsome 5-piece sectional with both a left and a right arm recliner, plus armless unit, wedge, and a comfortable sleeper that opens up into an inner spring bed for 2. Now at Levitt's. But hurry in, the best buys will go fast.
You'll love it at Levitt's.
Welcome to the excitement of the Burger King Winter Challenge. You could win $10,000 instantly, a Lake Placid winter sports adventure, Paradise Escape vacations with Marriott and US Air, plus $4 million in cash and prizes. Just pick up your game card at a participating Burger King, and you too could be an instant winner in the Burger King Winter Challenge. And now, for a limited time, when you buy any Burger King sandwich at the regular price, you get a medium fry and a medium drink for just 99 cents more. Make any sandwich a meal for 99 cents at Burger King.
When Monica Seles was attacked last year, one was tempted to think it was a fluke, a freak kind of thing, but it has happened again to another woman athlete.
Nancy Kerrigan, bronze medalist of '92 Olympic fame, just finishing practice today in Detroit for tonight's Olympic skating trials, and she was attacked by a man with a crowbar. She was struck about the legs and has been released from a hospital in Detroit. The injuries, they say right now, do not appear to be serious. It is unknown if she'll be able to skate in the program coming up on Friday and on Saturday. Nancy is one of the world's best, as we see here. She was popular way beyond the sport itself. She was a rising star, a celebrity. Then today's attack. An eyewitness was there.
Very confident that I'll be on. I've never heard a scream like that before. It was, it's just an awful, horrified type of scream, and she just fell backwards, and I heard her say, "Why me?"
The attacker is still on the loose in Detroit. Nancy was released from the hospital late this afternoon after being attacked, they say, with a crowbar in Detroit. Now live from the Spectrum is Jimmy Santi, who's in town with the Aladdin Night Show. His former coach is Nancy's current coach. And first, Jimmy, your reaction to the attack of Nancy Kerrigan this afternoon.
Well, I'm stunned by it, and again, it just shows you, unfortunately, what our world is coming to. I wish that this would not ever become a part of sports, but it seems becoming more common.
Jimmy, how well do you know Nancy? And if you could sort of figure this one out a little bit, beyond the injuries, which are not serious, how tough might it be for a skater to go out there mentally on the ice and try to skate with leaving this behind?
Well, I've known Nancy for a few years. We did take from the same coaches, Mary Evie Scottfold. And as far as her character, she is an extremely tough competitor, and she really is a true champion in the sense of the word. If anybody can come back from this, put it behind her, it will be Nancy. I hope physically she's okay. Mentally, I think she is a tough woman. I think she can deal with it, hopefully.
Jimmy Santi commenting on the attack of Nancy Kerrigan. You are also the genie in the Aladdin Show. Have a nice show tonight at the Spectrum. Jimmy Santi. Flyers travel to Texas. This is their first trip to Dallas. North Stars moved from Minnesota in the offseason, so they dropped the word North from their name. They're just the Dallas Stars. Brent Fedek says it's nice to have a place to go, especially in early January, and especially to the state of Texas.
It'll be different. I remember I played with Detroit. I played an exhibition game down there, and it's warm down there. It's not really the setting for it, but you know, now they have teams in Florida and everything, and it's moving farther south.
Flyers 2-0-1 on the trip will be at Dallas tonight. Sixers off until tomorrow when they play at Dallas. Mavericks made a move today, sending Derek Harper to the Knicks for Tony Campbell, the #1 pick in 1997. Derek goes from a team that was 2-27 to a team that is 19-8. You might expect him to be happy, but Derek Harper, emotional, tearful to leave.
I'm leaving a place that's tough to leave, man.
Derek Harper, the newest Knick, with a tearful farewell in Texas. It is the 6th of January. The snow is piling up, but Jack Brayboy is dreaming, and he is dreaming of baseball.
Don't adjust your television set. It's not quite baseball season yet, but the sights and sounds of Clearwater and Philly spring training are just 6 weeks away. This year, it'll be a little different because the Phillies will go into spring training National League champs, attracting a lot of attention.
We've had a lot of free agents calling us, free agent players' agents calling us about, well, now all of a sudden we want to go to Philadelphia. And all you have to do is win, and you'll have guys want to come to your club or your organization.
One player Thomas would like to have is Baltimore reliever Greg Olson to team up with the newly acquired Doug Jones, a sort of closer by committee. But Olson has arm problems, and the price might not be right.
They may want too many years and too much money, because no matter how you look at it, I think you have to be a little careful here. And when he's right, he's a heck of a pitcher. He would be the answer for us if we knew he was healthy.
As for the rest of the team, Thomas says he's a little concerned about the mental health of his team after all that bickering that went on between the now departed Mitch Williams and Kurt Schilling. He wants to be sure that precious chemistry is still intact.
I think we're going to have to clear the air a little bit when we get to spring training, and I don't think this is a kind of club that'll all of a sudden just start doing that. I don't think they will. They all want to win too much, and they saw what happened last year, and I think they'll all keep in a pretty good frame of mind, because we're sure going to remind them that that's what they have to do.
I'm Jack Brayboy, Channel 6 Action News.
Almost makes you feel warm thinking about baseball. Almost.
Coming up on Action News, Dave Roberts and AccuWeather when we continue in just a moment.
The Today's Man clearance is on with bigger than ever savings on pure wool suits. Sophisticated world-famous designer suits, now just $199.99. British, French, American, and Italian suits, now just $159.99. Traditional and European style suits, now just $129.99. Clearance savings on great sport coats and blazers, too. Plus incredible savings on raincoats, leathers, top coats, and casual jackets. The Today's Man clearance. Hurry in now for huge store-wide savings.
Staples. We guarantee no one anywhere can beat our prices. Staples. 30 to 70% savings on everything, every day. Staples, where delivery is free on any phone order over $50. Staples. Call for a free catalog or visit the Office Superstore. Why go anywhere else?
Are you ready for a blue day? That's a great day of skiing that doesn't take a half day of driving to get to. At Blue Mountain, 19 trails, some over 1.5 miles long, the highest vertical lift in the state, 100% day and night snowmaking, all little more than an hour from Philly. Blue Mountain, because if you live to ski, the only kind of day worth having is a blue day.
Dave Roberts in the AccuWeather forecast. David?
Did you see the snow today? About 9 o'clock this morning, you folks in the northeast, around Willow Grove and northeast at the airport, there were a few flakes around. All in all, most of it stayed to the north. Just about all of it stayed to the north. Let's take a quick look at action radar now, and you'll see the system. There's the sweep out of Harrisburg. You can see around Pittsburgh, a little precipitation moving in, some more light snow, northwest corner. Then to our north, moving into New York City, we're still kind of out of the picture. This is the problem. There's a frontal system. We're on the cold side of it, obviously. Milder air down here. A couple of storm centers, one in southern Illinois on into Indiana, the other one coming out of Texas and Oklahoma. These two kind of get together. All of this moisture coming in as it moves in. The cold side here, it depends on when the cold air moves out and the warmer, moist air combined. So overnight, we could have a little bit of possible icing out of this, and then the rain moves in for tomorrow. So as we start the weekend, here's the call from AccuWeather. More messy stuff. 15 in the Poconos, 20 in Allentown, our low, 24 degrees. The official high was the freezing mark of 32 at 1:37 this afternoon. Let's take a look at the 6 o'clock numbers. Good evening, sir. Present temperature reading is 28 degrees. Relative humidity 67%. The barometer 30.12. It's falling. Winds out of the east 12 miles an hour. The ocean water temperature is 37. 2.5 in the northeast, 27 outside the station, 2.8 for Center City at the airport in Camden. Here it is now, the exclusive AccuWeather 5-day forecast. Cloudy and cold overnight. Look at the temperatures, 22 to 28. Possible late icing around midnight, between 11 p.m. and midnight, early morning hours. It could be some icing. Could hold on in the morning. Then a mixture of some rain and drizzle as we moderate up to 40 degrees. Saturday looks like rain, 38 degrees early. Then the temperatures start to tumble. Windy and cold on Sunday, 30 degrees. Partly sunny on Monday, 35. Tuesday, some cloud cover, maybe a little snow, maybe a little raindrop in there, 38 degrees. So possible late icing tonight, cloudy and cold as we change again as we head into the weekend.
All right, Dave, what a birthday this was today for a woman from Montgomery County. Anna Hua of Lansdale celebrated her 110th birthday. The staff and fellow residents at St. Mary's Manor brought in a cake and extended their birthday greetings to Anna.
Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Anna was born in Poland and came to the U.S. in 1910 when she was 26. She and her husband Alex had no children. Anna says she doesn't have any secrets for living so long. She just credits her religion for her good health and longevity. The World News Tonight is next on Channel 6. Action News continues at 11. Now for Gary Papa, Dave Roberts, and the entire Action News team, I'm Jim Gardner. We'll see you at 11 o'clock tonight.
Imagine you're married for years with children